Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, we are once again tracking a massive winter storm in the models. Here's our current view of the GFS model. As you can see, the United States is pretty much empty. The last storm, that massive winter storm, blizzard conditions that we saw in the Northeast, that is completely gone today. We pretty much see no lake effect snow. We do see a little bit of a system up northwest, but that's pretty much it. There's literally nothing going on today weather-wise. However, let's move forward here and let's track this system. You can see this low pressure system with some rainfall and some heavy snowfall up here in Washington and Oregon. But let's track this as it kind of dives a little bit and makes kind of a arch, a backwards arch here as it heads into kind of north into the Dakotas areas. As you can see, that snowfall is going to be impacting portions of the Northwest, and this is going to be around 9 a.m. of Monday. Let's move forward, though. As you can see, that low pressure is a little bit more in southern Canada, and as we head forward here, you can see that low pressure just on the border here of North Dakota and Canada. We still see a little bit of snow showers and rain showers over here, but really a really small system pretty much here as we head into more of Tuesday. That low pressure finally makes it into more North Dakota, and it goes northeast here as it makes that northern turn. And now as we head into February 1st, let's head forward here, and as you can see, we have a lot of rainfall over here in the Midwest. We also have a little bit in the south here. We do have some sort of system brewing up here on the 1st of February. Around 3 p.m. So let's head even more forward here, and you see that snowfall very quickly developing right over the Midwest here. And you can also see maybe some ice on the very edge of this rain and snow line. That's where that kind of line, that's where that jet stream is blocking all of the warm air from going north. But as you head forward here, that snowfall continues to grow throughout Tuesday and now into Wednesday, where this is going to be around 3 a.m. As you see, that snowfall is reaching all the way from Michigan into portions of Colorado, New Mexico, and states like that. So a very long swath of snowfall, and even ice is going to be a big threat here as of right now. We see that freezing rain there in portions of central and southern Illinois and into portions of southern Missouri there. Let's head even more forward into the early morning hours of Wednesday. That snowfall continues to grow in these areas. As you can see, this is a massive line of snowfall here, and this low pressure hasn't yet appeared yet until we head into February 2nd. This is going to be 3 p.m. of February 2nd. This snowfall is still continuing in these areas. So as you can see, we have some pretty significant freezing rain, it looks like, over here in portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Just note that this is now reaching the Northeast. This is reaching all the way up into Canada, right near Maine. And we still have a snowfall over here in Arizona. So this could be a very massive system here. And as you can see, this snowfall still impacting this area. And we have looks like another system now combining with this other system. So it's becoming pretty much a massive winter storm at this point. This is going to be 12 a.m. of February 3rd. So this is pretty much happening for 2 days straight now. So as we head forward, a very significant ice storm going on right now, and a lot of mix, as you can see there. That's also going to turn to ice if the surface is cold enough and the air is warm enough. As we head forward here, this is going to be 3 a.m. of the 3rd. Let's head more forward. That low pressure finally appears over here in the south on Mississippi. We have some very heavy rainfall going on. We have very heavy freezing rain in a lot of these areas. This time diving a lot more south here. And as we head forward, that low pressure is all the way down here in portions of Tennessee, and we have some very heavy snowfall. Once again, this is going to be Thursday, February 3rd. So this has been going on from Monday to Thursday of, I think, 2 separate systems, because we saw that one swath of snow, and then we see this other huge swath of snowfall now heading into portions of the eastern US. So this is going to be 3 p.m. of the 3rd. As you can see, that snowfall is now heading into portions of New England and the Mid-Atlantic. We have a lot of that freezing rain now in portions of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, New York, even New Hampshire and Vermont is seeing some of that freezing rain. Possibly some severe thunderstorms also could be possible with this system, according to that very heavy rain, according to the GFS model. Also note that this low pressure system is still all the way down here in Alabama by 9 p.m. of Thursday. So we headed to 12 a.m. of Friday, and this snowfall is definitely well impacted in the Northeast. They just saw that major blizzard, so they already got like 25 inches of snow over here, and even 30 inches of snow in those areas. So this is just going to be on the edge where these areas saw this major blizzard yesterday. This is just going to be on the edge of this snowfall. So it looks like you may even see some rainfall here, or even freezing rain, to maybe melt some of that snowfall to help you guys out with those roadways. But again, that's going to be around 4 days from now, or even 5 days from now. So this is not super long out. This is going to be Tuesday, so this is 2 days out from now. So this is not very long range. We are definitely getting a lot more confidence with this storm. We've been tracking this since just before that major nor'easter did hit the Northeast. We can take a look at the European model, but I think it does have pretty similar opinions on this. All right, this is going to be 6 a.m. of the February 1st. We have that rainfall starting across the Midwest. Really not much going on yet, but as we head throughout the 1st, it's going to be 6 p.m. We start to see some possible mix over here, portions of Missouri and Illinois. We start to see some snowfall over here in Colorado. Let's move forward here into 12 a.m. of the 2nd, and a lot of that snowfall is really popping up now around 12 a.m. because those temperatures are really dropping down into these areas because it's overnight, of course. But those temperatures drop. I think a cold front does drop into the area. That's what's causing a lot of that snowfall. If a cold front didn't drop, a lot of this would be rainfall, of course. But as we head forward here into the early morning hours of Wednesday, you're seeing a lot of heavy snowfall already, and this is just the first system moving through. And the low pressure system I think it's already like in this type of area, maybe this even low pressure right there. Let's move forward here, and as you can see, we see a lot of freezing rain according to the European models, just like the GFS over here in portions of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Not as much over here according to the European model, but it really starts up once you get into the Arkansas region here. Let's move forward into 6 p.m. of the 2nd. As you can see, the heavy freezing rain is definitely kicking in portions of Oklahoma. This is 2 separate systems here, I see, because it made a split. There's a split in it. So these are 2 separate systems that kind of combined according to the GFS model, but the Euro model actually shows that this is actually 2 separate systems. So there's a weak low pressure system right somewhere in there that is being guided by the jet stream, which is very interesting here. Like you saw in the GFS model, this looked like one system, but like I said, it looked a little fishy, so that's why I thought it was 2 systems. So let's move forward here, and according to the European model, those 2 systems combine again. Very heavy freezing rain according to the European model, which both the GFS and Euro models are agreeing with this, and those heavy snowfall rates are continuing yet again in portions of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Michigan a little bit, Ohio, New York now entering that area by then. And then we enter the lunchtime hours. Most of that snowfall has exited these types of areas. We are still seeing a little bit of snowfall there in Oklahoma and Texas. Now let's move forward here, and as you head into around 6 p.m. of Thursday, very heavy snowfall here in portions of New York and Ohio, and you see those possible severe thunderstorms again. A lot of that freezing rain is in those same areas according to the European model, like the GFS model. And then, of course, that enters the Northeast here with that freezing rain and snowfall. And this is going to be 12 a.m. of Friday, so it's going to be mainly happening overnight into the very early morning hours. We head into lunchtime, and pretty much the whole system has mostly exited the region by then. We can't look at snow totals just yet. We can't confirm snow totals just yet, but we can take a look as it is not too far away. we can take a brief look at the Euro model, as it is typically the most accurate with snowfall totals on long range than the GFS model. Again, we're just taking a brief look at the snowfall totals here. We're not making any forecasts here just yet here. Tomorrow I might actually forecast snowfall totals due to it being much closer. But for now, we're just taking a brief look at what we could see in this type of scenario. So this is kind of a hypothetical, but this is also pretty realistic of what we could see here. According to the snowfall rates and the heavy precipitation onto more of how long the snowfall is going to be over a certain area. So over here in Oklahoma and Texas, likely you're talking around 6 inches of snowfall in those areas. But once you get into Missouri, likely over a foot of snowfall, according to the European model. Over here in Indiana, upwards of 20 inches of snowfall. In this area, it has been in a snow bubble all winter long so far. So this will definitely make up for that snow bubble in kind of this area here in Illinois and Indiana. That'll definitely make up for that snow bubble there. Now, as we head into more of Ohio, you're also seeing upwards of 20 inches of snowfall in northern Ohio. Southern Michigan could see upwards of 12 to 15 inches of snowfall. And over here in portions of very extreme northwestern portions of Pennsylvania, upwards of a foot of snowfall. But more of those edges, you're going to see upwards of a dusting of snowfall. So more of those grays, light blues, teals, that's where you're going to see upwards of a dusting to maybe 1 or 2 inches of snowfall. But of course, this is not a forecast yet. I will go much more into details as we get closer. But this is kind of your preliminary look at what snowfall totals we could see. Upwards of 15 inches of snowfall in New York, and over here in Vermont, 15, another 15 inches in northern New Hampshire. And over here in Maine, you're talking up to a foot of snowfall as well. So that's kind of your look at what we could see with this, and we can take a look at the freezing rain, because this could be a very dangerous freezing rain event if the GFS and Euro does verify. Now here it is, the GFS model predicting a devastating ice event with over 1 inch of ice, possibly over here in this swath, which this is very significant ice storm if this does actually happen. And this reaches all the way from Texas, where we saw that major Texas ice winter storm, which brought a lot of difficulties in Texas. If this does verify, Dallas will definitely be very devastated by the ice, as you'll see upwards of half an inch of freezing rain, which their power lines, they're not really meant to handle winter weather like this. So that's why there were so many power outages in Texas from that major winter storm of last year. If we do see this again, we're definitely going to see a lot more power outages here, especially because we're going to see a lot of freezing rain if this does verify instead of a lot of snowfall. Over here in Oklahoma, you're talking 1 inch of freezing rain. This is, again, not a forecast. It's still a little bit far out, especially for freezing rain amounts. But as you can see, this would be a very devastating event, and even upwards of a quarter of an inch of ice is very slippery, and it could lead to a lot of accidents. This is reaching from the northeast in Maine all the way down here to portions of New Mexico and Texas. So that would be a extremely devastating ice storm. And if you do live in this swath, definitely prepare for an ice storm. Either way, if it's a weak ice storm, or it's like a small ice storm or a very large ice storm, both of them are going to be quite dangerous, especially this type of ice storm that we see in the GFS model. Definitely prepare for this, as you're going to see a lot of power outages. With over an inch of ice, that's pretty much a guaranteed power outage outbreak in your area. If you do see an inch of ice in your type of town or city, that is definitely a guaranteed power outage type event. And even half an inch of freezing rain or a quarter of an inch of freezing rain could lead to quite widespread power outages, but definitely will be much easier to restore than an inch of ice. So definitely, again, prepare for this. If you do live in these areas, keep up to date with the channel. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a single update on this upcoming possible major winter storm once again in the Midwest and Northeast. And also share this with any friends or family that may live in the snowfall areas, the ice storm areas especially. Make sure that you do share that information to them as it may be vital at this point in time. But as always, stay safe out there.